Hi, I'm Kim Rayner, and I want to welcome you to episode 24 of All About Spirits Life After Cancer. And today's show is called, What Does Ayurvedic Do for My Body? And this is a show that I produce every Monday at about 10 o'clock. And it is because anybody who's been diagnosed with cancer knows that it impacts every aspect of our lives, and it throws us curveballs. And those curveballs affect our social life, our private life, our relationships with ourselves, our relationship to spirit, our relationship with family and friends, work. It impacts everything. And my intention with this show is to offer people the support that I was looking for when I was going through my treatment and I couldn't actually find. So I hope that you find something useful in today's program. And I'm really excited about the topic of Ayurvedic medicine and Ayurveda itself. When I first was diagnosed, I thought that Ayurveda was a product that I could buy at a hair salon, and it is, but it is also an ancient medical practice, probably one of the oldest medicine traditions that we have on our planet that's still in existence today. And, last week I talked about Reiki and that being a healing practice that comes from Japan. And Ayurvedic medicine comes from India, and Ayur is the word for life in Sanskrit, and Veda means knowledge. And so in Sanskrit, this is the knowledge of life. And as I talk today about Ayurveda and Ayurvedic medicine, this show could really be called What Does Ayurveda Do for My Life? More than just What Does Ayurveda Do for My Body? Because it really treats all aspects of ourselves. It's built on a couple of principles. The first of those principles is that the mind and body are inseparable, that there's no way to separate the connection between our minds and our bodies. And the second principle is that there's nothing more powerful in healing and transformation than the use of your mind. So as I go through today's show, as I talk about the things that I want to share today, I want you to keep that in mind, that our minds are really powerful tools. And so many times we look for things outside of ourselves to solve our problems and to solve our situations for us. And absolutely, we can look outside of ourselves for help and for healing and for help. But to not discredit or discount the part where we get to look within ourselves. So Ayurveda is really a personal approach to health and wellness and vitality. And in the last session, or I guess it was session 18, where I talked about meditation and what does meditation do for our body, in that show, Ayurvedic medicine uses meditation as a huge component in the healing and transformation process. And Ayurvedic medicine requires self-awareness. That's what we're going to talk about today in our show. And for some reason, I'm having a hard time staying connected. So perhaps I'm just going to stand here and talk. So in Ayurvedic medicine, there are actually three different types of people, and those body types are called doshas. And each dosha is governed by two of the 5 elements that composite or make up everything in our world. So those 5 elements are space, which is pure potentiality. Space is emptiness, and there's pure potential for anything in space. And then there's air, which is the element of movement and change. And there's the element of water, which is the element of protection and cohesiveness. And the element of earth, which is grounding and solidity and stability. And then there's the element of fire, which is heat and change and transformation. And so each of the elements of or each of the doshas in Ayurvedic medicine, take two of those elements and combine them together to create a basic type of person or structure, or yeah, I guess of person. And that's what we're going to start by talking about today, is those three different types of people. And the first one that we're going to talk about, the first type of person is what's called the Vata person, and that's spelled V like Victor, A-T-T-A. And the second type is called Pitta, and that's spelled P like Peter, I-T-T-A. And the third type is called Kapha, which is spelled K-A-P-H-A. And each one of those body types have a combination of the different types of elements that are put together to have to create the way that they respond emotionally, the way that they're constructed physically, characteristics that kind of underline who they are and how they move about in the world. So the first body type that I'm going to talk about is the Kapha body type, and they are governed by air and by movement. So the qualities that are associated with a Vata type person is they have a tendency to be cold, and there's a dry quality, and there might be irregularity in their physical characteristics, or in their just in the characteristics associated with a Vata type person. And physically, they tend to have a thinner frame. They're smaller. They can be energetic and agile, and a lot of times a Vata person doesn't require a lot of sleep, and they might be light sleepers, and a lot of times they'll have cold hands. They might experience cold feet. And if a Vata person is out of balance, they might experience fatigue, or they might end up with weight loss that isn't planned or necessary. They might have arthritis problems. They may suffer from constipation or hypertension. And so those are qualities. There's a way that in Ayurvedic medicine, when we're in balance, everything flows and everything moves, and when we're out of balance, we bump into challenges in our life. And that's a list of some of the physical challenges that a Vata person might experience. From an emotional position, Vata people have a tendency to really like new experiences, and they like excitement and change, and they might be quick-tempered or quick to anger, but they're also really quick to forgive. And when they're out of balance, they might struggle with worry, or they might be anxious, or they might have insomnia. And when a Vata type person is overwhelmed or they're feeling stress, their reaction, the question that they ask is, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? So there's a way that Vata people move in the world. And there's also the Pitta type of person. And a Pitta person is governed by the two elements of fire and water. And some of the qualities that are associated with a Pitta person is they're typically medium-sized, and they're average weight, average build. Their physical conditions, oftentimes they have a good complexion, they have good digestion, they're pretty energetic, they have a strong appetite, and sometimes that leads them to think that they can eat anything and not be impacted by that. When a Pitta type is out of balance physically, they might experience rashes, or they might have burning sensations within their body. They're prone to ulcers and heartburn. And some of the emotional aspects of a Pitta type person is they have a really powerful intellect. They're able to concentrate. They are great decision makers. They're good teachers. They're precise, and they have a sharp, quick wit. Oftentimes they're direct, and they can be outspoken. And when a When a Pitta type person is out of balance, they might be short-tempered or argumentative. They can play passive-aggressive. And when they're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, their tendency or the question that they ask is oftentimes, what did you do wrong? What did you do? Why did you do that? And then the last kind of person is the Kapha person. And a Kapha is governed by the elements of water and earth. And the Kapha type person has a tendency to be slow, steady, solid. They have a tendency to have a heavier frame or a bigger frame. And some of the physical characteristics or aspects of a Kapha person is they're strong and they're bold, and when they're in balance, they have good stamina, and oftentimes they have large, soft eyes, and they have really nice skin, and a lot of times they have thicker hair. And when a Kapha person is out of balance, they have a tendency towards fluid retention or weight gain. Sometimes they struggle with allergies. They require a lot of sleep. They're prone to arthritis, diabetes, and health issues of that nature. And on an emotional scale or an emotional level, Kapha people are calm. And they are thoughtful and loyal and loving and gentle and supportive and patient. When they are out of balance, Kapha people are resistant and stubborn and dig in their heels and refuse to change. And my guess is if you look around your life, you can identify people who fall under Vata, Kapha, and Pitta. And you might see in yourself that there's aspects where, I'm sometimes a Pitta, but boy, I have a Vata characteristic or I have a Kapha characteristic in that area. And that's absolutely normal, but there is a dominant personality or a dominant type that you usually or typically associate with. And, you might be saying, okay, so, Kapha people too, when they are feeling overwhelmed, their tendency is to say, you know what, I just don't want to deal with this. I'm just not going to deal with it. So when we're looking at these Ayurvedic medicine and these personality types, what does that have to do with cancer and a cancer diagnosis? Well, as you are going through the process of healing from your cancer, it's really important to know who you are. And in knowing who you are, it really gives you the opportunity to say, what are the characteristics in me that are strong and helpful? And how can I use my mind to enhance those characteristics? And what are the characteristics that I need to fight against, or that I need to brave myself up against, or that I need to pay specific attention to? So knowing who you are is really, really important. And all of Ayurvedic medicine really starts with the 3 personality types or the 3 body types or the 3 person types. And everything else is built upon that. And some of the other attributes of Ayurvedic medicine are eating a colorful diet. And you do that in the context of knowing what's your body type. If you're a person who has high energy, the kind of food that's going to be important to you is going to be different than a Kapha person who has a slower metabolism, who has a tendency to be more sedentary in their lifestyle. So knowing who you are and what's the food that's going to best serve my body type is really, really important. And then, getting the right kind of sleep for the type of person you are. If you are a Pitta and you sleep in short bursts, you sleep really deeply, but for a short amount of time, knowing that is important. And it's important especially as you are cooperating with your doctor and your medical team as you're trying to heal yourself from your cancer. Another really important aspect of Ayurvedic medicine is being in tune with nature. And the easiest way to be in tune with nature is to know your own body type and what is your nature, what is your tendency, When are you best and at your best and most aware? When are you most active? When is it that you want to be sleeping? And when are your down times? When is your nap time in the world? And knowing that about yourself is really important, especially as you go through and continue to treat yourself and to treat your healing. And then another component of Ayurvedic medicine is exercising and doing the right kind of exercise for your body type. Are you a Vata that has short bursts of energy and likes to run? Or are you a Kapha who wants to be slow and methodical and wants to walk for your exercise? Really finding out about who you are and what's the best type to treat your body. That's the way that you're going to enhance your healing and you're going to enhance your own life no matter what it is that's going on. Knowing the kind of foods that are easy for you to digest so your body can use the nutrients that it needs to be able to heal itself is hugely important in this process. Strengthening your digestive system, eating the right kind of foods for your body type is important. And then also finding ways to take it easy, finding ways to really be comfortable in the quiet and in the still, and knowing who you are and how you move in the world is a really big component of that. So with all of these shows and all of these episodes, my invitation to you always, always, always is about self-awareness. It's about finding out who you are and how you move in the world and what's the best way. What worked for me may not work for you. There are parts of me, I'm basically or primarily I'm a Pitta person, which means that I'm of medium frame and I sleep well but in strong bursts, and I know that when I'm out of balance my tendency is to get aggressive. So what do I need to do to make sure that I stay in balance? And all of the things that I did in my healing process are a component of Ayurvedic medicine. Now, the one thing that I will say, in Ayurvedic medicine, there are a lot of, there's a lot of stuff that's done with herbs and proprietary formulations and stuff like that. And before you take any kind of medicine, I just want to say, always, always, always check with your medical care, your medical team, and make sure that what you are wanting to do is not going to be contraindicated to the work that they're doing. You don't want to be taking something or doing something that's going to interfere with treatment if you're getting chemotherapy. So make sure before you start any kind of new practice that you're checking with your provider to make sure that it's not going to interfere with anything. And I'm going to include on the notes for today's show, I'll include information about where you can go to find out if you are a Vata, a Pitta, or a Kapha type person. And I'll attach a link to that so you can go take the test for that. And if you found any information in here to be helpful, I hope that you will like the page. I hope that you will share it on Facebook. And I hope that life treats you well until we talk next time. Thanks for being here today, and make it a great week.